It started with a receipt. Not a lipstick stain, not a late-night whisper, not even the dead stare she'd perfected over the past few months. No, what cracked the first line in the dam was a receipt, tucked inside the shopping bag of organic pasta and free-range eggs like it was nothing, like it didn't carry the smell of deceit on its crumpled little edges. The date stamped on it was from last Thursday. The time? 3:42 p.m. I remember because she texted me at 3:47 that day, saying she was stuck in traffic, running late from her volunteer shift at the shelter. Shelter. Right. But the receipt didn't say anything about a shelter. It was from a coffee shop I didn't recognize, miles away from any shelter she'd ever mentioned. I flipped it over. 2 items. 1 chai latte, almond milk, light foam. Per usual. The other? A double espresso and a slice of pistachio cake. That's not hers. Never has been. She thinks pistachios taste like perfume. Her words. So, whose was it? That question sat with me for 2 full days. I didn't bring it up. Not because I was afraid, but because I wanted to be sure. You don't accuse a woman like Ashley lightly. No, with Ashley, you need receipts. Multiple. Tangible. Undeniable. Ashley's the kind of woman who could lie straight to your face, cry on cue, then spin it into a "you're crazy for even thinking that" performance with enough Oscar-level sincerity to make you doubt your own eyes. I'd seen her do it before to friends, to coworkers. Never to me, until now. Thursday came around again. She left at 2 p.m., same as last week. Said she had a board meeting at the animal shelter. I gave her a kiss on the cheek, wished her luck, and followed her. Quietly. Casually. Like a man who suddenly found himself fluent in suspicion. She didn't go to the shelter. She drove past it without even slowing down, turned off into a quiet little side street, and parked across from the coffee shop. That same one from the receipt. I didn't get out. Just watched from a few cars away, sunglasses on, engine low. I wasn't ready for the confrontation, not yet. I just needed to know. And then, like fate had grown bored of being subtle, I saw her. Ashley, sitting at a table in the shade. Not alone. He was across from her. Laughing. Leaning in just a little too far. And she? She was smiling in that way she used to smile only for me. The way that used to say, I'm exactly where I want to be. I didn't storm in. I didn't make a scene. I didn't even frown. I just watched. And then I left. I passed right by them on the sidewalk, my face a mask of polite indifference. She didn't see me, or maybe she did and chose not to react. Either way, I kept walking. Straight past the betrayal, straight past the coffee, straight past the urge to scream. And at home, I didn't wait. I didn't pour a drink. I didn't sit on the couch staring at the door like a sad cliché. No. I packed a small bag. Just the essentials. Just enough to say, you'll notice I'm gone, but not enough to think I'm coming back. She came home hours later and found nothing but silence. The living room, empty. The kitchen, still. The bed, cold. Her voice echoed down the hall as she called my name, fake worried, rehearsed. But the walls didn't answer. Only the receipt did. I'd left it on the table. Folded. Facing up. Right beside it, a single sticky note. 3 words. I saw you. She didn't call. Not that night, not the next morning. Not even a text. That's when I knew, really knew, that this wasn't a mistake or a misunderstanding. This was a woman who'd already rehearsed the fallout. Who had an exit plan filed alphabetically next to her skincare routine. Who saw my empty closet and thought, finally, not where is he? I imagined her walking through the house like a detective on a cold case. Looking for clues. For signs of emotion. But I left none. No broken dishes. No teary letters. Just my side of the closet stripped clean and the air a little heavier. Her perfume lingered in the hallway, clinging to the walls like a guilty conscience in floral form. But it was the silence that got her. I know Ashley well. She thrives on reaction. On the back and forth. The drama. And what I gave her was nothing. Nothing is terrifying to people like her. By Saturday, I became a phantom. She called my brother. My office. Even messaged an old college friend she once made me block, out of respect. Suddenly, she wanted to find me. Now that I wasn't orbiting her anymore, she remembered I existed. But I was already watching her unravel. From a distance, of course. Let's not confuse silence with weakness. I hadn't vanished. I just stepped out of her script. The first real crack came Sunday night. She called, finally. A voicemail. Logan, hey, I don't know where you are. I came home and saw the note, and I don't know what that means. I didn't do anything. I mean, What are you saying you saw? Funny. For someone who didn't do anything, she sure had a lot of questions. Her voice shook like a bad actress halfway through an improv monologue. I listened twice. Once as her husband, and once as a man who'd been set on fire and walked out smiling. I didn't call back. Instead, I went to a coffee shop, not the coffee shop, a different one. Somewhere new. And I sat there watching people order drinks they didn't need, speak words they didn't mean, scroll through photos of lives they weren't living. The world keeps spinning, even when yours cracks in half. That's when I saw her again. Ashley, walking into the same shop. Alone this time. Same table. Same seat in the shade. Her eyes flicked around the room. Searching. Not for me, but for him. That double espresso clown. The pistachio cake connoisseur. He didn't show. She waited 23 minutes. I know, because I counted. She stirred a drink she didn't touch and kept glancing at the door like a broken metronome. Tick, 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 waiting for something to come back that she knew she'd lost. And just before she left, she reached into her bag, pulled out her phone, and typed a message. I watched her thumb hover. Backspace. Rewrite. Thumb hover again. Then she sent it. To me. Can we talk? I'm sorry. I just want to explain. There it was. The pivot. The damage control. The preemptive emotional CPR. But this isn't the part where I fall for it. This isn't the rom-com act break where the guy comes running back because she finally realized what she lost. No. Because I just realized what I gained. Clarity. Space. Power. And something she couldn't take back. That look she gave him, the one that used to belong to me. She didn't know it yet, but this story had flipped. She was no longer the one making choices. I was. And the next move? It would change everything. You ever watch a magician pull a rabbit out of a hat and wonder, when did the switch happen? That's what betrayal feels like. 1 minute, you're nodding along to the script, trusting the illusion. The next, the rabbit's grinning at you with your wife's lipstick on its ears. Ashley had texted, "Can we talk?" And against all odds, I said yes. But not because I wanted closure. I wanted her to think she still had a shot. We met in a public place. Neutral ground. A small bookstore cafe where people whispered instead of screamed, and everything smelled like old paper and mild guilt. I picked the seat facing the door, back to the wall. She walked in 10 minutes late, looking like someone trying too hard not to look like they were trying. Tight jeans. Casual jacket. No wedding ring. She sat down, gave me that half smile, the kind that used to melt me when we were 25 and broke and in love and thought forever was something we could budget. Logan, she started, voice soft. You didn't answer my calls. Or my messages. I saw you, I said flatly. She blinked, lips parting. Saw me. In the coffee shop. Thursday. With him. For a split second, her face flickered, not with guilt. No. With calculation. Like a chess player realizing the board's changed mid-game. You followed me? I happened to be there. Her eyes narrowed. That's convenient. I almost laughed. There she was, caught mid-lie, and somehow she was still auditioning for the role of victim. But I didn't take the bait. Instead, I leaned back. Calm. Collected. Cold. So who is he? She stared at me. He's just someone I've been talking to. Talking. Right. Over pistachio cake and eye contact so intimate the chairs started blushing? Her jaw tightened. She looked away. And for the first time in a long time, she seemed small. You and I haven't been connected lately, she muttered. You've been distant. Always working. Always distracted. I didn't plan this, Logan. I tilted my head. And yet, here we are. She fidgeted with her napkin. A small rip formed between her fingers. I watched it stretch like the last thread of her excuses. I made a mistake, she finally said. But it's not what you think. We just talk. He gets me. Gets you, I echoed. Do you hear how often you say that? That someone else gets you? First it was your therapist, then your yoga instructor, then that mentor from your work retreat who somehow only texts after 10 p.m. Her mouth fell open. You were checking my phone? No. You were just sloppy. And I stopped assuming your secrets were worth trusting. Silence settled between us. Heavy. Awkward. Honest. Then I dropped the hammer. You don't have to lie anymore. I know it wasn't just coffee. Her eyes went wide, panic blooming like a bruise. What? I saw you two again. Saturday. Same spot. Different angle. That was a bluff. I hadn't followed her Saturday. But she didn't know that. Ashley froze. For a heartbeat too long. That's all I needed. I didn't say anything else. just pulled a small envelope from my coat pocket and placed it gently on the table. Inside, printouts, time-stamped photos. Her sitting with him, leaning in, hands brushing. One of them walking out of a hotel. Her laughing like she used to laugh with me. I didn't even need to open it. Just the sight of it, the weight of her face caving in, was enough. I'm not here to fight, I said. Or forgive. Or fix. Her voice was a whisper. Then why are you here? To tell you, I said slowly, that I'm done auditioning for a role in a movie you already recast. She looked down. For once, she had no comeback. I stood up. You turned back? I said quietly. To empty rooms. That wasn't by accident. Then I left. I didn't check to see if she cried. I didn't need to. Because I had the truth now. And that truth was mine. Ashley didn't message me after that. Not that day. Not the next. Not the one after that. And when she finally did, Tuesday morning, 6:12 a.m., her name lit up my phone like a flickering bulb in a horror movie. It was just 2 words. We need. I didn't read the rest. Because what we needed had been buried somewhere between her lies and that pistachio cake. Instead, I smiled. Because now it was my turn. You see, most people think revenge is loud, explosive, some dramatic final act with shouting and storming and maybe a tragic monologue if you're feeling theatrical. But not me. I don't rage. I haunt. And I'd already started. I changed my mailing address. Not to another house. No. To a P.O. box in a different zip code. I wanted her to feel the disconnect every time she checked the mail and realized life was forwarding without her. I changed the locks, too. Not out of spite, but strategy. When she came home late Wednesday, makeup smudged and keys jangling, the door didn't budge. She knocked once. Then again. Then silence. She called. I let it ring. And somewhere inside her perfect little head, a new fear began to form. Not that she'd been caught, but that I'd stopped caring. People like Ashley don't fear consequences. They fear insignificance. They don't mind being hated, as long as you're still watching. But when the curtain falls and there's no applause, no audience, no one left to hurt, that's when the panic sets in. I watched from across the street, parked inside a friend's borrowed sedan. Watched her press her head against the door. Watched her text me, then scroll, then pace. Her hands trembled. Her hair, usually smooth, perfect, was curled in all the wrong directions, like she'd run her fingers through it too many times trying to smooth out a life that was no longer cooperating. And when she finally turned around and walked away, she looked back twice. Twice. As if the house might miss her. But the house was quiet now. And so was I. That weekend, I sent her an email. 1 sentence. No greeting. No signature. He's not staying, you know. 2 hours later, she replied. You don't know that. But she was wrong. I knew exactly what kind of man he was. Because I've seen that type before. He wasn't in love with her. He was in love with the chase. The thrill. The fact that she was someone else's wife. And now? Now she was just someone's mistake. I had lunch the next day with her sister, Morgan. Morgan always liked me. Probably more than Ashley ever did. She hugged me tight, longer than necessary, and said, she's not doing well. She looks hollow. I raised an eyebrow. How poetic. Morgan smirked. She thinks you're plotting something. I shrugged. That's flattering. Morgan leaned in. Are you? I didn't answer. But here's what Ashley didn't know. I'd already been in touch with our accountant, and our realtor, and our shared attorney. I'd already prepared the paperwork that would remove her name from the deed, with one signature missing, hers. All she had to do was come to me. Crawl, if I was lucky. Beg, if she still had that kind of pride left. And when she did, I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't cry. I'd just smile and ask, do you want coffee? Because she would sit down. She would sip. She would hope. And I'd look her in the eye, calm, steady, and ask the question I've been saving. Do you still think he gets you? There's a saying. If you're going to dine with the devil, bring a long spoon. Ashley brought a straw. She asked to meet. Neutral ground again, like that made it all fair. She picked some trendy brunch spot downtown, the kind with concrete walls, uncomfortable chairs, and $16 avocado toast. The kind of place where everything looks minimalist because everyone's too afraid to say it feels empty. Appropriate. I arrived exactly on time. She was already there. Fresh blowout, white blouse, nervous smile. I could smell the desperation under her perfume. She looked like she wanted to say, you look good, but didn't know if it was still allowed. Thanks for coming, she said, voice fragile. I nodded, took my seat, and stirred my coffee. No small talk. I've been thinking a lot, she began. And I realize now how badly we, got off course. There it was again. We. That magic little word that turned her affair into a group project. I want to fix things, she continued. We were solid once. I don't want to throw all that away over one mistake. I took a slow sip. Let it burn. One. She flinched. Logan, please. I know you're angry, but we can work through this. Therapy. Space. Whatever you need. I set my mug down gently. Did he dump you? That stopped her. What? Double espresso. Pistachio cake. Great shoulders. Bad timing. Did he leave you already? Or are you just realizing you were the side dish all along? Her face twitched, like a crack forming in porcelain. That's not why I'm here. No, I said. You're here because you thought this would be the part in the movie where I finally break. Where I say I miss you. Where I give you a second chance so you can feel wanted while planning your third. That's not fair. You know what's not fair? I leaned in. Coming home to a woman who smells like someone else's cologne and has the nerve to say she's just tired. Silence. The waitress came by. Ashley ordered a water. I didn't speak again until she left. Here's the truth, Ashley. I could have gone nuclear. I could have shown those photos to your boss, to your parents, to every friend you lied to about our rough patch. I could have burned it all down. She swallowed, her eyes glassy. But you didn't. No, I said. I decided to take everything you thought I'd cry over and build a new life on top of it. Ashley looked down. You're really not coming back, are you? I smiled. Back? I'm already gone. Then I reached into my coat, pulled out a second envelope, slid it across the table. Neat. Clean. What's this? She asked. It's a list of everything I want in the divorce. She opened it. Read the first few lines. Her face went pale. No alimony, she whispered. No need. I said. You're independent now, remember? Enlightened. Empowered. You don't need me. But the house stays with me. You moved out when you moved on. I stood up, straightened my jacket. You always thought I'd be the one left behind, didn't you? She looked up, lip trembling. I never thought you'd leave without a fight, she whispered. I stared down at her. The woman who once made me believe forever was possible, and said, Oh, Ashley, I didn't leave without a fight. I just fought smarter. And then I walked out. Left her sitting in that cold chair, clutching lukewarm water and a future she no longer owned. Because that's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't break me. It just rewrites the script. They say the worst part of betrayal is the moment it happens. I disagree. The worst part is watching the betrayer realize they're no longer holding the rope. They're hanging from it. Ashley started texting me again. Not the angry kind. Not the manipulative, flirty, let's talk like adults kind either. No. These were the messages of a person slowly understanding that regret doesn't come with a receipt. Can we meet again? I didn't expect it to go like this. You don't have to be cruel, Logan. Cruel? I hadn't even started. But I knew she was unraveling when I got a call from her mother. That's right, her mother. A woman who once told me, straight-faced, marriage is about patience and knowing when to keep your mouth shut. Apparently, Ashley wasn't keeping hers shut anymore. Not around family. Not around friends. She was panicking, and I was just out of reach, the one person she couldn't spin. Her mom's voice was strained. Logan, honey, I'm not trying to take sides, but Ashley's not sleeping. She's not herself. She's exactly herself, I said. Silence on the other end. Then a sigh. She made a mistake. No, I replied. She made a decision. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. This was a campaign. Click. Back at the house, things were shifting. The rooms no longer echoed with the ghost of her. Her favorite mug was gone. Her shampoo gone. The drawers she used to fill with overpriced skincare now held legal documents, spreadsheets, and a small velvet box I hadn't touched in weeks. The ring. I didn't pawn it. Didn't throw it into the sea or some symbolic garbage disposal flourish. No, I mailed it back to her. Registered mail. Signature required. Because nothing stings like having to sign for the symbol of everything you destroyed. That night, she called me again. I let it go to voicemail. Logan, I got the ring. That was cold. Exactly. I wasn't done. You remember her double espresso friend? The guy with the watch too big for his wrist and the loyalty of a dog in a steakhouse. Turns out, he had a fiancée. Found her on social media after 15 minutes of harmless digging. Turns out cheaters never just break one heart. They usually leave a trail. I didn't call her. Didn't write. Just sent a single anonymous envelope. Inside, 2 photos. Ashley and Espresso Boy. One at the coffee shop. One coming out of the hotel. No note. No signature. Just truth. Delivered express. By Friday, the silence turned into something new. Damage control. Ashley sent one last message. You're really not coming back. I see that now. But you didn't have to make it so calculated. I stared at the screen for a while, and then typed back. You wanted excitement, Ashley. I just gave you a better plot twist. Send. People think revenge is about satisfaction. It's not. It's about clarity. Drawing the line so sharp it cuts through every lie they told, and the ones you told yourself. I wasn't angry anymore. I was clean. And Ashley? She was now just a character in a story I outgrew. I didn't expect the call from her boss. Not because I wasn't prepared, I was. But because Ashley always swore she kept work separate. Apparently, her espresso-flavored affair didn't get the memo. Mr. Hale, the voice was tense. Polite in the way people are right before something explodes. I understand you and Ashley are going through a transition. I almost laughed. Let's just say we're upgrading the software. Old version had too many bugs. He didn't laugh. Just cleared his throat. There have been concerns about professionalism. Someone submitted photos. I'm just the husband, I said. Soon to be ex. A beat of silence. We're conducting an internal review. These things never stay personal, do they? No, they don't. Especially when you build your house on borrowed charm and forget to lock the door. Ashley's job was her pride. Her identity. She used to come home buzzing with corporate gossip and self-importance. She once said, if I ever lost this job, I'd lose myself. Well, she was halfway there already. By Monday, she showed up at the house. She stood on the porch like a stranger. Same driveway. Same front steps. But this time, the door didn't belong to her. I didn't answer. She knocked. Waited. Knocked again. Then slid a manila envelope under the door. Inside? A handwritten letter. 3 pages. Front and back. Apologies that read more like explanations. Sentences filled with, I didn't mean to, it just happened, and you pushed me away. At the end, one line stood out. If this is who you are now, cold, calculated, then maybe I never knew you. I read that one twice. Then I laughed. Because I hadn't changed. I just stopped playing the part she wrote for me. Divorce day came with no ceremony. No blowout. No courtroom theatrics. Just a beige room, 2 pens, and silence heavy enough to crush a planet. She wore gray. Hair back. No makeup. The Ashley I married was always 2 steps ahead, a strategist in heels. But this version? She looked like someone walking out of a burning building with nothing but smoke in her lungs. We signed the documents. Assets split. No alimony. I kept the house. She kept the lease on the lie she'd been living in. The lawyer nodded. It's done. Ashley looked at me like there was one last line in the script she forgot to say. But I was already standing. I'll walk you out, I offered. She didn't speak. Just followed. At the door, she turned to me. You never even asked why, she whispered. I paused. Because the why doesn't fix anything. She flinched like I'd slapped her with the truth. Then she walked out. No hug. No goodbye. No music swelling in the background. Just a door clicking shut on 21 years of pretending. I didn't vanish. I built. Quietly. I took the job in Portland. A new city, new skyline, new rhythm. Sold the old furniture. Donated her books. Kept the good knives. The house felt lighter without her. Like a cast that finally came off. She texted twice that month. Saw your name in the company newsletter. Congrats. I didn't reply. You're really gone, huh? Still didn't reply. Sometimes silence is the final word. But I wasn't bitter. Bitterness chains you to the past. I was free, and I wanted to stay that way. So I started writing again. Not emails. Not reports. Stories. I wrote our story. Stripped it of names. Changed the endings. Made the main character walk away a little sooner, a little stronger. Sent it to a friend in publishing. 6 months later, I held the first copy in my hands. The Weight of Quiet Things. Ashley never saw it coming, but she definitely saw it. She posted about it on her Instagram. Said it hit close to home. I bet it did. 1 year later, I passed the same coffee shop. Same table. Same shade. But this time, someone else was sitting there. She looked happy. He looked present. Good. Let them have their beginning. Because my ending? It wasn't an ending. It was a door. And I'd already walked through it. Ashley texted me again. One last time. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you're happy. I stared at it. Let the moment sit. Then I typed back. I am. And that was it. Not a revenge story. Not a tragedy. Just a man who saw the truth. And chose himself.